This is The Tea Project with your host, Gadiel and Michelle, a husband and wife duo where they will be discussing personal finance, managing a household, and so much more. Gadiel is a father, husband, a military veteran, and a lawyer. Michelle is a mother, wife, boss. Each week, they will be providing you with fresh and valuable content, so stay tuned. And now, welcome to The Tea Project.
All right, folks, how are you doing? This is Money Talks, or Tea Project Money Talks, and this is Michelle and Gadiel.
Hey, folks.
Today we're going to talk about, another article that we found.
Article that we read.
Yeah. It says, my new wife wanted to live with me for free, even though she had $800,000 in the bank, so I asked her to move out. This was through Market Watch. And it was interesting because we actually had a podcast, our initial first couple of podcasts.
Right, early. One of the early ones.
We talked about how do you manage money as a couple.
Right.
So I think just to give you a description of what the couple is, like what their situation is they're married at 63. Mm-hmm. So they're already like in retirement age, close to retirement. It looks like the wife was wealthy through the parents.
Yeah,
she's a nurse. Mm-hmm. And she's been subsidized by her parents.
Yeah,
all her life.
Her dad here gave her $28,000 tax free. Mm-hmm. As what you could do, you're gifting. You can gift a certain amount each year, and it's tax free to the giver, and to the giver and to the receiver. It's tax free.
Are you sure?
At least to the giver, for sure. That you can give up to a certain amount.
No, I'm not a tax expert.
Oh, I'm not a tax expert.
I'm not sure about that part.
The article states that she received $28,000 tax free from her father. Mm-hmm. Right. So yes, that's the subsidizing. Plus, she earned X amount, $30,000 per year, as a nurse. Right.
Yeah.
So it looks like in the article they only dated for 4 years. They were married 2.5 years. Right.
Mm-hmm. So, she had $800,000, or she has, I don't know about now, but she, according to or at this time, she had $800,000 in the bank.
Right.
The guy has he makes $120,000, mm-hmm. and he's debt free. He only holds a mortgage.
Right.
So and the mortgage is $150,000. So he says I have $330,000 in his 401k plus a pension when I retire. So if you kind of compare them both, and you look at like whose net worth is higher, obviously the woman or the wife is higher because she's worth $800,000, mm-hmm. whereas he is, let's see, $120,000 a year. But mm-hmm. let's not take that into account. Let's just say what his net assets are. He owns, yes. Let's say his house is worth $150,000, so that cancels out. He's worth $330,000 plus whatever his pension is. Right. So he has some net worth, just not as much as the woman has. Mm-hmm.
Based on what I'm seeing, he's not. She looks like she has a higher net worth.
Oh, absolutely, $800 compared to.
All he has is $330,000
compared to $330,000 plus the pension.
That, and there you go, plus a pension. But the pension is a monthly payment.
Right, and the reason I'm getting to that is because we're trying to compare apples to apples. And this is just our opinion. We're going to pretty much try to scrutinize this, mm-hmm. And see what should they do, what should have they done, or right. But it's just opinion. So
some of the key details here is that they lived together for a little bit, and now he asked her to leave, right? Mm-hmm. So he's staying in his home. It's his debt prior to their marriage. But the question he poses is this: how should the money be split?
Wait, here's another thing to add. He says, I paid for everything before we married. And he's like, everything. We ate in nice restaurants to the tune of $11,000 during the first year. So if we do the math, it's almost $1,000 a month.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Where do they live?
Well, maybe there's no cooking. You know, they never cook. They went
I mean,
out every
I'm
day.
pretty sure they go out to like these nice restaurants. Her being worth $800,000, not having any debt, always having herself subsidized by her parents. Maybe they are going out to eat. So let's say they eat every week.
Yeah.
They eat out every day. I mean, or every other day. That's a lot still though. But so he's like 11,000 is what we spent, and that was the year. That was before they got married. So he's already set an expectation.
Yeah.
By doing that, which I think even like we've had this conversation before. Who pays for the dinner, especially when you're during your courting years or whatever.
Right. So he's asking how should the money be split? So considering she has $800K in the bank, the house is his, the mortgage is his. He paid for everything that first year.
Wait, but you're not answering my question.
What's that?
I'm saying that who should or shouldn't be paying for everything. Like nowadays in the 21st century, I think most people do where you pay for one dinner when you're dating.
Yeah.
The other person pays for the other dinner. Or am I wrong? Are they still doing where?
I'm gonna disagree to an extent, because I think if you're dating. And look, I'm not trying to be macho or chauvinist or nothing like that, but I think there's almost an expectation if it's just dating, right? These folks they got married. Or no.
But I think it depends on the person. Some people are about chivalry and everything.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to get to, is that the guy is expected to pay.
But not everybody.
You know what?
You have independent people.
You're right.
And I'm not saying they're not independent. I'm just saying you have people who are so far leaning independent that they would say, no, I'm paying for my food, you pay for yours.
You're 100%
or
right.
I'll pay this time and you pay the next one.
Right. You do have that.
Yeah.
You do have that. So I guess it depends on the couple.
The situation too.
If it's you or I, because in this scenario, the guy paid the whole year, you know. So I don't know what that conversation was like, but obviously, if it's enough to be a detail in this article, I don't know if he's holding resentment or whatever the case is, but it's enough to make it a point that he paid for that, and he even put an amount. It's $11,000 I paid for eating. So somehow he wants the person he's emailing in this article, probably a financial planner or something like that, his opinion, and his opinion better include that I paid $11,000 the first year of eating out.
Right.
And when you think about the distribution of the money, you need to consider that.
Right.
So,
but that should have been something that they should have had a conversation during their dinner dates.
And that's
what I mean?
Yeah, we had the podcast, so let's talk about it a little bit. You're 63, I'm 63, right? Obviously, you had your whole life. Like you're 63, you lived a long life. And depending on your habits and what you expect from a man, you're going to bring that into that relationship.
You need to communicate that.
So at 63 and 63, we're going on a date. What do you say? What do you say?
Hey, well, how about this? Here's a question that before you have that conversation, where was she living before?
Right. Did she live on her own? Was it rented? Did she
Right. Does she own a house? Because if she owned a house and she's moving in with him,
right.
The fact that she doesn't want to pay for rent, I'm not saying that that's the way to go. It's everybody to each their own. But if you weren't paying out for rent then because you owned the property or whatever.
Yeah.
Then why should you be paying rent for the place that you're living in now?
Got you. The guy said that she didn't pay one penny towards the mortgage.
Right, and let's just say hypothetically, because we don't have all the information here. Let's just say hypothetically speaking, she has a house and she has a property and that's where she lived. Then I think something to consider. I'm not saying any of this is the right thing to do, but I'm just saying something to consider, or they should consider, is that she rent the place, and that rent money let's say the mortgage on the house was, I don't know, $1,000, that she pay $500 with the rent income from that property. If she didn't own the property, or she owned it and she had a mortgage,
Okay.
she was paying something to it.
Right.
She should be contributing regardless of, hey, I'm 63 years old and I'm too old to be paying for this, whatever her reason was to not pay for it.
Right.
Or is she just simply trying to take advantage?
You're saying it's possible.
Yeah.
She rent free, dinner free,
Right.
Or that expense free. Let me ask you this though. She has to contribute, no? Is that the point you're making? Whatever that is. Whether I'll pay the light bill or I'll pay the garbage or the water, but I'll pay something. I will contribute somehow.
Right.
She didn't contribute here. The guy's like, listen, give me advice, because it seems like this lady didn't contribute financially at all.
Now, I wonder, though, if she did contribute and he's not saying that. He's not forthcoming of it.
Right.
You know, because there's always 2-3 sides to the story.
For sure.
What if she was paying for the light and he just saw that as like,
that's
like
nothing.
Yeah.
What if she didn't pay the light, but she helped around the house?
That's true.
Maintenance.
That's true. Clean the house.
Sweat equity. Like she didn't pay financially, but she upkeep the house.
Right. And then,
is there a dollar amount to that? I think there is. I think there's an argument that you can say that if I keep this house maintained, looking brand new, and we had to put $1 to that, well, how much would it cost you outside of the house if you paid somebody to come clean it? How much would it cost you? Well, then that's how much the value of the service that I've given.
So transactional.
Well, look, because the guy here he wants it to be considered how much money he spent in his marriage, and now that they're not together,
it looks like he's ready. He said, we married, we discussed our finances and agreed we could split everything. That's what they discussed.
Yeah.
And I guess that she didn't comply with her part.
Right.
I don't know.
Which is maybe why they didn't last long. But look,
it just seems like right now he's ready to put a lawsuit against her though. Like, I paid, here's the tab, $11,000 the first year. I have $150. You owe me this much for all the years we were together. And
it also says they eventually started putting an equal amount in a joint account. Right. So look, this is me. Forget about legal and I'm only speaking about equitable distribution. Not about how much you make a year and it's not fair that I take this and you don't work. Right? I'm saying equitable distribution, right? What I would say is this. You take what you brought prior to the marriage, because the good thing, at least they weren't together too long.
Right.
So that shouldn't be hard to do the math. You brought in $800,000, that stays in your bank. You know what? You take back your $800.
Right.
I have my pension. I keep my pension. I have $330,000 at 401k. That is mine. That's mine. That's yours. This house with the mortgage is mine. What you put in the bank account, in this joint account, if it's still there, you take it back.
Right.
What I put into it, I take it back.
Yeah.
So you're kind of undoing, right? What they have done together financially, you undo it.
Right.
Where the part where he put in $11,000, and so he put in his own money, right? His capital contribution. Maybe he doesn't get it back.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
maybe he doesn't get it back. That's the cost of doing business.
Right.
You think that's like the cost of doing business in a marriage?
I mean, that's what marriages come down to. A business transaction.
A business transaction, right.
So, but, there's so many ways that you can, the guy's asking, like, how should they split the money? Based off of the fact that their net worth is not the same. They didn't build their net worth together.
Yeah.
Either a percentage or a fixed amount. Yeah. An equal amount, or say, hey, you put in 1/3 and I'll put 2/3 in, whichever one picks which side. But something has to happen. Something needs to be done. and it needs to be consistent. It can't be like what he said, that they started with a joint account and that only lasted a year.
Yeah.
It should be where they're putting that in there, even if it's just for an emergency.
Yeah.
You know, one of them gets sick or whatever, they at least have that money or to be able to pull out from. So
let me say this. Look, if you're that age, you're at a mature age where you can have that discussion with someone you just met and you're considering kind of dating them for a real long relationship, then I think it's easier to have that conversation, to speak about expectation, about how much they're going to contribute financially, as opposed to a 20-year-old.
Yeah.
Dating a 20-year-old and then, hey, how much do you make? How much do you make? I buy this dinner. You buy this dinner. Do we buy it? Do we get a joint account? I think it's a little tougher to have that conversation.
When you're older?
When you're younger.
Really?
When you're older, I think you've already been through it.
Yeah, but it depends on, you said it though, if the maturity level makes, the upbringing, the way you've lived your life over the last 40 years.
I guess,
that all,
plays into
any
it.
Psychological problems not problems, but
right.
baggage that you bring in, that
So I can't assume that if you're 63 that conversation.
I mean, we talk about like 40,
true.
50-year-olds that still are in them, that have minds of 20, 30-year-olds.
Yeah.
You know, they're out there.
So regardless on the age then.
Yeah.
If finance is going to be an issue, and it's always an issue, it's always an issue. No, I'm not going to say don't get married. I mean, that's come on. Do you hear this, folks?
No.
Don't get married. What I'm saying is, if it's a serious relationship, not at the level of marriage, but it's serious where you're going to come out of pocket is very slang, where you're making a financial investment in this relationship, the sooner you have the conversation, I think, about expectation. This is my house, my mortgage, my name's on it. The sooner you have the conversation of what's the fair thing to contribute.
Yeah.
It's already in my name. Can you help me out with the water? I know it's very it's impersonable to do that. It's almost like you're watering down the feeling of the relationship when you start talking about responsibilities.
But that's just
you know what I mean?
Marriage is not supposed to be something all nice, pretty, flowers and all that.
It's not.
It comes with ugly things, impersonable things.
Yeah.
So
the sooner you have those conversations, the easier it is not to make your exit plan, but where you're on the same level of expectation financially. But this sucks for them. This really sucks, man. And anybody going through this, it sucks. I think that the key thing I take out of this is that doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how old you are in a relationship with someone or beginning a relationship. Talking about finances is still important. Yeah. I mean, regardless if you're 50, 63, or 25, it's always a topic of discussion that you need to have with your partner or whoever.
Right.
Crazy. So, any final remarks?
Nope. I think we kind of scrutinized this one probably to its highest degree.
All right, folks, if you like this podcast where we talk about an article of a situation that many people go through, many people are going through this. If you like this series, if you want to see a series out of it, let us know in the comments, subscribe, please. We're a small podcast. We want to grow, we like doing these episodes. Let us know. Help us grow. All right. Take care and God bless.
Till next time.